Welcome to this episode of the Sports Detective Podcast Show. My name is James Williams, and today the Dallas Mavericks cannot stop humiliating themselves after the Luka Doncic trade. It is bad enough that the Dallas Mavericks made one of the worst trades in NBA history. They gave away a top three player in the NBA before he is about to hit his prime, or right about when he is about to hit his prime, to the most hated team, or one of the most hated teams in all of the NBA, the Los Angeles Lakers. But the thing that the Dallas Mavericks have been doing an even worse job at since this trade has happened is they have not been able to control the media narrative. They have lost the PR battle so badly in this whole post Luka trade, fall from grace that the Dallas Mavericks are going through here. So the governor of the Dallas Mavericks, I believe his name is Patrick Dumont. Is that his name? Patrick Dumont? It doesn't say it here in this article. I'm going to show you guys this snippet of this article that was done about. It was done, I believe, by a local Dallas newspaper, and this is Patrick Dumont kind of defending the trade of getting rid of Luka Doncic, and in doing so, kind of smearing his name in the process of it. So this is a snippet from that article. I'll go ahead and just read this whole thing here for you guys. In my mind, the way teams win is by focus, by having the right character, by having the right culture, and having the right dedication to work as hard as possible to create a championship winning outcome, Dumont said. And if you're not doing that, you're going to lose. Dumont's tone again turned forceful. If you look at the greats in the league, the people you and I grew up with, Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, they worked really hard every day with a singular focus to win. He said, and if you don't have that, it doesn't work. If you don't have that, you shouldn't be a part of the Dallas Mavericks. That's who we want. I'm unwavering on this. The entire organization knows this. This is how I operate outside of basketball. This is the only way to be competitive and win. If you want to take a vacation, don't do it with us. It was pointed out to Dumont when people read those comments. The assumption will be he is inferring that Doncic did not fit those winning culture qualities. Look, I think there's a lot of things that come into play when you decide the roster of the team, Dumont said, and culture is very important. That's what we're focused on. Okay, so you get a little bit more of an insight here to why the ownership um, made this decision. But a thing that a lot of people were pointing out with Dumont and his reference there to the greats like Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant, is those guys were definitely guys similarly to Luka Doncic that like to have a very fun time off the court. I'm just going to show you guys. I found some like quote tweets of this that I think are very funny because they kind of show how unaware of basketball history this Dumont governor for the Mavericks really is aware of. So this is one here, as you guys can see on your screen right now. Larry Bird's reaction to his famous 1985 bar fight resurfaces. I like to go out. Excuse me. I like to drink beer and go out. Larry Bird, constant worker, constant professional. Dude like to go out and drink beers from time to time. There's another thing here with this is a quote from Shaquille O'Neal, who was referenced by Dumont. In our first championship, I was 345 pounds and then had a great summer, came back 385 pounds for the second one. O'Neal said, last championship, I was 415. Oh my God. I did not read that fully before I share it to you. I got another one here. This is one that is pertaining to Shaq, who Mavericks owner. If only Luka worked hard every day like Shaq. This is what Kobe famously had to say about Shaq, and this was a huge tension point of why Kobe and Shaq eventually broke up with the Lakers. Kobe Bryant, I would have had effing 12 rings if Shaq wasn't lazy. Work hard every day like Shaq. Dude, and this is humiliating. You were just wrong on this point. I mean, maybe if you put in some different names, but even too, Michael Jordan was kind of like a vampire at times when it came to his, off the field basketball stuff. Wasn't a thing he played like 18 or 36 holes of golf the day of a finals game. That was something that happened in Michael Jordan's prime. We know Larry Bird liked to have a few beers. We know Shaq liked to have a very good time, was not afraid of having McDonald's cheeseburgers and, putting on some weight, and wasn't necessarily the most savvy dieter. So the idea that somebody like Luka Doncic has to be like Kobe Bryant with his diet and his exercise to be great, to win, to be successful is just not the case whatsoever. Um, Things have gotten even worse though for the Dallas Mavericks. So I'm recording this Tuesday afternoon, and Monday evening is when Luka Doncic made his debut for for the Los Angeles Lakers. And the most famous, the best player in Dallas Mavericks history, Dirk Nowitzki, was in attendance for Luka Doncic's debut with the Los Angeles Lakers, showing his support. I cannot talk today, for the young, for his former teammate. I think they played 1 or 2 years before Dirk, eventually hung it up for the Dallas Mavericks. And this is what Dirk had to tweet about his appearance for Luka Doncic's debut. I will always be a Mav for life, but I have come to support my guy, 77 Luka Doncic, in his first game of his new chapter. I know he's saying he's a Mav for life, but if you're a Dallas Mavericks fan and you see the guy that you thought Luka Doncic would be in Dirk Nowitzki, or the heir apparent to Dirk Nowitzki, and Dirk Nowitzki is basically saying, "Hey, I have a lot of loyalty for Luka. I like Luka. I support Luka. I will be that figure for him. We will be friends for life, and I'll be a mentor for him for life." And he went to his debut with the Lakers. Absolutely incredible. The humiliation tour continues for the Dallas Mavericks. I'm going to go ahead and show you this. This was the guy that we were just talking about, Patrick Dumont, was at the Dallas game the other night, and I believe this was Monday night, and he was booed by the crowd at American Airlines Center. And I'll go ahead and we will just watch this 19-second clip here of him getting booed. There's a lot of times we've shown clips on this show of fans booing, and sometimes it's kind of hard to decipher. I don't think that is hard to decipher at all. That was clearly booing Mavs governor Patrick Dumont. I got a few more things here for you. Let's see. This also, I guess I won't show you this video. But basically there was a few fans last night that were at the Dallas Mavericks games, and they had signs that said "Fire Nico," implying, Dallas GM Nico Harrison should be fired. And they were notably kicked out of the game for having those signs. So that's not a good look. And this will be the last thing I show you guys that kind of summarizes basically everything that's happened for the Dallas Mavericks since they traded away Luka Doncic. Things have just not been going well for them. In the past week, the Mavs trade Luka in disgusting fashion. Anthony Davis has potential season-ending injury in the first game. I don't know if it will be a season-ending injury. It could be. Shams tweeted that he was going to be out for multiple weeks. Now, does that mean 3 weeks? Does that mean 5 weeks? Does that mean 8 weeks? It remains to be seen. I think it's closer probably to like 3 or 4 would be my guess. But still, not a very good look that Anthony Davis plays fantastic basketball in his debut with the Mavericks, but then leaves late in that game with a abdominal injury, re-aggravating the abdominal injury that he wasn't playing with the Lakers before he got traded. Gafford hurts his knee in the very next game. Mavs are without every big man. That was the whole point of the AD trade. Was like, hey, we are going to have this thing in every single playoff matchup against every single Western Conference team, or if they make it to the finals, any single Eastern Conference team. We are going to be bigger than you. We are going to overwhelm you with size. And right now, they are without Anthony Davis, Derek Lively, Daniel Gafford, PJ Washington, and even Dwight Powell. They do not have a lot of size with the Dallas Mavericks right now. This will be the last point that I make here. The thing that is so heartbreaking for Dallas Mavericks fans right now is the only way for this trade to be successful. Now, obviously, you have the Dallas Mavericks part of this where they have to be successful with Anthony Davis. But the true way that this trade is successful for the Dallas Mavericks and they made a smart trade and they win the trade is if Luka Doncic, the guy that Dallas Mavericks fans have been rooting for what did he got drafted in 2018, 7 years? The guy that they thought was going to be the heir apparent to Dirk Nowitzki, the guy that's made 5 first-team All-NBAs, the guy that I'm sure a lot of Dallas Maverick fans named their pets after Luka Doncic, whether they named him Doncic or Luka or whatever. This guy that they had been rooting for and investing and thought they were going to be, rooting for him throughout all the 2020s and all the 2030s. That guy that they spent so much emotional time as a fan rooting for, you have to root for him to fail. That is the only way that the Dallas Mavericks win the trade, is if Luka Doncic turns into Joel Embiid. And the Nico Harris assessment of him, that he's lazy, that he doesn't work out, that he doesn't take off the field stuff seriously, that he doesn't diet properly enough, which I do think to a degree are fair criticisms of Luka Doncic. They are fair criticisms. We've kind of been waiting, and I think even Dallas Mavericks fans could sympathize with this. You have been kind of waiting for like 3 or 4 years. It's like, all right, is this a year that Luka's going to come in and just kick ass and he's going to, just dominate, and this will be the year that the Dallas Mavericks win like 63 games and he's the MVP? We haven't had that yet. Now, I actually think he should have won the MVP last year. I think he had the best season, and I think he proved that in the playoffs. But that's the thing that's so hard for the Dallas Mavericks fans. For the Dallas Mavericks to win the trade, Luka has to fail in his career. That's it. And that's a pretty tough pill to swallow when this is a guy that you've been rooting for since he was like 19 years old, that you watched grow up in the NBA, that you watched have multiple just insane playoff series. Even when he's like in the early years of the playoffs where he's just out dueling Kawhi Leonard, who was supposed to be a top 5 guy in the sport at the time. When you see him come back from 3-2 against the Phoenix Suns and absolutely, nuke that team's future potential because they completely blew up the team after that series, or in the next year after that series. When you saw him make that incredible, that's one of the best finals runs by a player that we've seen ever last year. He was incredible, taking down the Oklahoma City Thunder, taking down the Minnesota Timberwolves, the team that we thought was going to go and win the finals after they beat Denver. Luka did that stuff. Luka's amazing. And now that's just what's hard with Dallas Mavericks, and the only way they win the trade is if Luka fails. And that's pretty sad, because I don't think Dallas Mavericks fans want him to fail. And they didn't want the team to trade him. And we did a conspiracy theory episode where we went through a conspiracy theory that's getting floated around about the trade, of why that happened. But it just seems like ownership if I could make the most logical sense of the trade, it's basically this. These guys that are running the Dallas Mavericks come from a business sense where they think that Luka Doncic is an employee of them. They write him checks every single, week, month, whatever. And they look at him and they think that he's an employee, rather than what it actually is in the NBA, where the players are partners with the NBA. They are partners. Luka Doncic is a partner of the franchise. He's not an employee of the franchise. He's a partner. And that's kind of, I think, the disconnect when I read these quotes. And that's the most logical, thing that I can pull from it. And they look at him and they're like, maybe this guy's not working as hard as we want him to. He's not Kobe Bryant. Well, no one's Kobe Bryant. He's not LeBron James. Well, no one's LeBron James. But there's one thing that I know about Luka Doncic. This dude is an absolute beast. He's a playoff monster. And this is going to go down as one of the worst trades in NBA history. I'm very confident in that fact. So that's going to do it for this episode here today. If you like this episode, please make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button if you enjoyed it, and leave a comment on what you think about how the Dallas Mavericks have been handling this trade since they got rid of Luka Doncic. Do you agree with the trade? Do you not agree with the trade? Tell me what you think. Would love to hear your comments. And feel free to check out other videos on this podcast page. And we'll talk to you next time. Thank you for watching.